Spies turning on and exposing other spies. I'm going to tell you the story about a Chinese spy put into exile to the UK, to the US, where he sought political asylum. He penetrated the inner circles of the president's men, and now he's spending decades in prison for scamming people out of $1 billion.
Thousands of victims of more than approximately $1 billion through fictitious businesses and other online schemes.
What we understand is that Interpol has already issued a red notice for criminal suspect Guo Wengui.
Chapter 1. The enigmatic scammer who penetrated the president's inner circle. What if I told you about a Chinese dissident with 8 names and passports from 11 countries, possibly a spy, who fled to China, infiltrated Trump's inner circle in the United States, orchestrated $1 billion swindle, and ended up facing the FBI's wrath? Brace yourself for a jaw-dropping, twist-filled saga you won't believe is true. A chameleon-like figure who shapeshifted between 8 distinct personas had masterfully crafted an image as a titan of wealth, a brave truth-teller, and a fearless opponent of Chinese oppression. Yet beneath this carefully constructed veneer of legitimacy lurked a web of deception and criminal enterprise that would ultimately be his undoing. This year, his house of cards came crashing down spectacularly. A federal jury shattered his elaborate facade, finding him guilty on 9 counts, including securities and wire fraud, racketeering, and money laundering, crimes that had left a trail of victims and drained more than $1 billion from unsuspecting pockets. His deep-rooted connections to the Trump administration cast a long shadow over his career. Like a master strategist forging powerful alliances, he joined forces with Steve Bannon, Trump's former White House puppeteer, to orchestrate an ambitious venture. Organization dedicated to toppling the Chinese regime, yet his reach stretched far beyond the murky waters of political intrigue. He emerged as a central architect behind the explosive Hunter Biden laptop scandal, a sensational but ultimately debunked conspiracy theory that rocked the 2020 political landscape with its tantalizing promises of corruption evidence. In the hushed courtroom, the devastating verdict shattered the hopes of his devoted online disciples, Chinese dissidents scattered across the globe who had dared to dream of change. These exiles had poured not only their hard-earned savings, but also their revolutionary aspirations into his silver-tongued promises of wealth and political transformation. Their faith had been cruelly betrayed by a calculating con artist who had orchestrated an elaborate charade, siphoning their funds to construct a monument to excess, a sprawling 50,000 square foot palace, a gleaming $3.5 million Ferrari that purred with privilege, and a magnificent $37 million yacht that cut through the waves with the same precision he had used to slice through their trust. The prosecution's ironclad case towered like an impenetrable fortress, fortified by damning financial records and devastating testimony from those who had once stood in his inner circle. His defense team had passionately painted him as a crusader against the Chinese authority, a freedom fighter whose every move had been orchestrated to topple the communist giant. But the jury, armed with the truth, guided by evidence, had torn through this carefully constructed veneer of nobility. Now, as reality crashed down around him, the specter of spending his remaining days in a cold prison cell loomed ever closer, threatening to consume decades of his life. The enigmatic figure who infiltrated Trump's most trusted ranks remains a subject of intense scrutiny, having orchestrated a staggering billion-dollar deception that ensnared both seasoned investors and devoted followers alike. The burning question lingers: how did this master manipulator climb his way into the former president's innermost sanctum? Chapter 2. Ascension in China. In the shadows of China's economic boom, Guo Wengui emerged like a phantom, his rise to power a labyrinth of secrets that would perplex even the most seasoned observers. The man who evolved into a billionaire dissident, adopting 7 additional identities, remained an enigma wrapped in whispers and speculation. The 1990s witnessed Guo's meteoric ascension during China's golden age of opportunity. From the foundations of Beijing Zenith Holdings, his real estate venture, his orchestrated masterful symphony of business maneuvers and alliance building that transformed into an empire of unprecedented wealth. His tentacles reached deep into construction, technology, and finance, earning him the glittering crown of Forbes' listed billionaire. The corridors of power echoed with tales of his political connections, each story more intriguing than the last. Some painted him as the chosen protege of China's elite, while others saw a puppet master pulling strings with calculated precision, his wealth and charisma opening doors that remained firmly closed to others. His reputation preceded him like a gilded shadow. Guo's extravagance became legendary. His parties were bacchanalian affairs where luxury vehicles were distributed like party favors to the powerful and famous. In China's high society, his name became a synonym for opulence and influence. Yet beneath his dazzling exterior, Guo was methodically cultivating an army of disciples, drawing in those who harbored grievance against the Chinese regime. He transformed himself into a beacon of democratic ideals, his message spreading like wildfire through mainland China and across overseas Chinese communities. As his empire expanded, so did the storm clouds of controversy. Accusations of corruption and fraud swirled around him like leaves in a tempest. His critics painted a structure of a mastermind who wielded wealth like a weapon, buying loyalty and silencing opposition. The Chinese government, increasingly wary of his growing influence, began closing in, armed with allegations ranging from financial crimes to violent felonies. But Guo proved too elusive for capture. In 2015, he orchestrated his grand escape, fleeing China with his fortune and faithful followers in tow. America would become his new theater, where he would craft an even more intricate web of influence and illusion, setting the stage for his most ambitious performance yet. Chapter 3. Exile in America. From the shadows of his privileged existence, Guo Wengui slipped away from China in 2015, abandoning a glittering empire of wealth and power. The mysterious circumstances of his escape left a wake of whispers and speculation, as the true catalyst for his calculated self-exile remained locked within a web of intrigue. Ensconced in a breathtaking $67 million Manhattan penthouse, Guo surrounded himself with priceless artifacts and lavish mementos from his past life. But beneath the glittering facade of luxury, a gnawing terror consumed him. The shadow of the Chinese government he had dared to cross loomed large over his newfound American sanctuary. Paranoia gripped him so tightly that he maintained an ever-present security detail, and in his mounting obsession with potential infiltrators, went so far as to seal off the building's fire exits, transforming his golden cage into a fortress of fear. From the moment he arrived, Guo remained a shadowy figure to his neighbors, a mysterious presence ensconced behind walls and protected by an ever-present entourage of silent attendants. Whispers slithered through the community like serpents, carrying dark rumors of his past, tales of a fortune built on foundations of deceit, of wealth amassed through shadows and scandal. In a stunning turn of events, in 2017, Guo obliterated the enigmatic shroud that had long surrounded him. With the creation of a Twitter account, he unleashed a torrent of incendiary accusations against the highest echelons of the Chinese Communist Party, painting a damning portrait of corruption. His bombshell revelations sent shockwaves through the political landscape as he systematically exposed the alleged transgressions of some of China's most formidable power brokers. Through explosive revelations, Guo unleashed a torrent of scandalous claims, brandishing what he called concrete evidence of a shadowy world of money laundering, secret mistresses, and opulent foreign properties. Positioning himself as a fearless truth teller, he vowed to rip away the veil of corruption shrouding China's political elite. The Chinese government's retaliation was both fierce and immediate. They utilized Interpol's global reach, securing a red notice that demanded Guo's capture and return to Chinese soil. Their accusations painted him as a criminal mastermind, a perpetrator of bribery, kidnapping, fraud, and even rape. Yet Guo remained defiant. Maintaining these charges were nothing more than political warfare aimed at silencing his damning exposés. With Chinese authorities closing in like predators stalking their prey, Guo executed his most audacious gambit yet, a desperate bid for political asylum in the United States in 2017. Through his high-powered legal team, he laid bare his claims of systematic persecution at the hands of Beijing's ruthless regime. Like a ghost in the shadows of international intrigue, Guo's alleged espionage career remained an enigma wrapped in speculation. Yet his explosive revelations carried an unmistakable weight of truth, peeling back the curtain on the hidden machinations and intimate vulnerabilities of China's power brokers. Like a master player in a lethal chess match, Guo's explosive allegations of corruption within China's political machinery had earned him the undying enmity of Beijing's most formidable power brokers. Now, as storm clouds gathered on the horizon, the fate of this audacious whistleblower hung precariously on whether his newfound American protectors would stand firm against the long arm of Chinese retribution. With the calculated precision of a master strategist, Guo Wengwei touched down on American soil in 2015, casting himself as a daring truth-teller who had narrowly escaped Beijing's iron grip. The enigmatic former billionaire carried more than just his considerable wealth. He arrived armed with a labyrinth of elite Chinese connections and an explosive arsenal of accusations that threatened to shake the Communist Party's highest echelons to their very foundations. His dramatic entrance into Manhattan ignited a firestorm of intrigue and skepticism that rippled through the city's elite circles. Like a master showman, Guo wove himself into the fabric of New York's Chinese-American society, captivating rapt audiences with explosive revelations about the dark underbelly of Chinese power. Through an artfully orchestrated campaign of YouTube exposés and incendiary tweets, he systematically unveiled a web of alleged corruption that reached the highest chambers of Beijing's authority. A damning catalog of multi-billion-dollar theft and shadowy criminal enterprises that had been carefully concealed behind the Communist Party's veneer of respectability. Like a spider weaving an intricate web, Guo meticulously cultivated powerful connections within America's conservative circles as he established his foothold in his adopted homeland. His incendiary rhetoric against communist rule and explosive allegations of Beijing's malfeasance found eager ears among Trump's inner circle. He deftly maneuvered through Washington's corridors of influence, cementing particularly potent alliances with conservative heavyweights. Most notably, Steve Bannon, the enigmatic former White House puppet master, and Roger Stone, the notorious Republican operative whose political machinations had shaped decades of American politics. In 2017, Guo launched a high-stakes gambit for political sanctuary in the United States, claiming his life hung in the balance should Chinese authorities force his return. His attorney, Thomas Ragland, painted a chilling portrait of his client's predicament, arguing that Guo's explosive revelations and blistering critiques of Beijing's inner workings had transformed him into a prime target, perpetually in danger of vanishing into China's prison system. Through a dramatic unveiling, Guo fortified his asylum plea by unleashing an explosive cache of evidence, a damning collection of documents and recordings that claimed to lay bare the dark underbelly of Chinese governance. His revelations painted a sordid tapestry of high-level malfeasance, with powerful officials allegedly orchestrating massive embezzlement schemes and accepting lavish bribes. Each accusation carried the weight of what he claimed was irrefutable proof, preserved in hidden recordings and confidential documents that threatened to shatter the carefully crafted image of China's ruling elite. Like a master strategist playing a high-stakes game of political chess, Guo orchestrated his revelations as a calculated gamble. He understood with razor-sharp clarity that his scathing indictments of Chinese leadership transformed him into a glittering prize for the Trump administration. By carefully crafting his image as both fearless whistleblower and potential intelligence goldmine for US officials, Guo maneuvered to broker a deal that would shield not only his life, but also his vast fortune from the long reach of Beijing's retribution. As Guo's high-stakes bid for the sanctuary snaked through the labyrinthian US immigration bureaucracy, he masterfully expanded his web of powerful connections while amassing an even greater fortune. His entrepreneurial empire flourished as he launched ambitious ventures, a sprawling media conglomerate and a cutting-edge cryptocurrency platform among them, which magnetized vast sums from both wealthy Chinese immigrants and right-wing American power players, eager to align themselves with Beijing's most notorious critic.
Hope you found it interesting. If you did, there's much more to come. Stay tuned for part 2, coming soon.